Dougie Dudgeon from nonprofit organization While You Were Sleeping is joining me in studio, and on Skype, Brett Thompson is joining us. Now, he's from Meat Free Mondays. We're going to be chatting about the film Cowspiracy and how the meat industry affects the environment. Dougie, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
Brett, thank you for joining us on Skype.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now let's get right into this. Dougie, While You Were Sleeping screens films that highlight different issues. We're going to be chatting about Cowspiracy today. Can you introduce us to the film?
Yeah, of course. Cowspiracy is a feature-length documentary film made by Kip Anderson. He was very influenced by the film Inconvenient Truth when he was younger.
Yeah.
Saw the film, changed his life, changed the way he lived, and he made a huge effort to do all the kind of things that we're kind of educated, this is what to do, you know, shorter showers and turn the lights off when you're brushing your teeth, all that kind of stuff. But no one ever mentioned to him the impact of the food industry, you know. Yeah. And as he became aware of it, he felt a real need to make a documentary about it. And that Cowspiracy is the result of that. And it's a fascinating and quite controversial film.
Now, Brett, this seems to be a topic that's gaining more and more traction. Can you introduce us to maybe how the meat industry does affect the environment from the Meat Free Mondays perspective?
Well, I think with meat, and it's just the amount of meat that we eat every single year. You know, globally we're eating 70 billion animals every single year, and there's just no ways to do that sustainably. So we're using a lot of resources that are being pumped into meat just to produce food for not many people. So the meat industry uses a lot of water, it uses a lot of trees are cut down, and uses a lot of land. So Meat Free Mondays is what we're trying to do is tell people that you've actually got to cut back on your meat, and it starts with one day. So that's what we're trying to do. And that's why we're really interested in why we've brought Cowspiracy to South Africa, because it's got such a strong point to make about why people aren't talking about their diets when they're looking at sustainable living.
Now, Brett, I want to ask you, do fad diets, like for example, this high protein, low carb diet, does this affect the issue?
Yes, it does. I mean, the thing is with the fad diets, you know, it's all good for people to say, let's get on a low carb, high fat diet. But, you know, the science is out to say if it works or if it doesn't work. I'm not going to get into that. But what I'm concerned about is that it actually really does affect animals. So we are eating a lot more meat just based on these diets, and it's resulting in more suffering being put onto animals, and that results in more and health complications for us later on. And then again, we are looking at the damaging effect of what it does to the environments. I mean, just some of the stats is alarming in itself. Between 18% and 51%, the stats aren't clear, but livestock is the #1 cause of greenhouse gases on the planet. So fad diets, you know, they sound great, but you know, we've got to actually think about it a bit more and see what it does to our planet and as well as our health.
I think it's important when we say, you know, that it's the #1 driver, primary driver, because there's lots of other things, and people are very quick to go, oh yeah, but this does it and that does it, you know. Yeah. But it's the #1 primary driver and to make that real, because we say climate change, what does that mean? It's like rainforest deforestation, yeah. Right? The meat industry is the #1 primary driver in that, you know. And you look at, I think the figure that they use is a football pitch every 10 seconds, Brett?
It's every second a football pitch is cleared to produce 250 burgers. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, and you just think about that, and then you add those together, and I didn't know the 250 burgers one, but what I did pick up in the film, for example, is this guy, you know, who's like diligently for the last 10, 15 years taken like 1-minute showers, you know, and then discovers that one cheeseburger takes 660 gallons of water. Right, and it's just like you look at that kind of number, right? And obviously that's the externalised water that's in use as well. But that's a huge amount to produce something that is selling for, like, in the States for like 99 cents or something, you know.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing.
I think Dougie touched on a good point there, is that the fact that you're buying a burger for 99 cents, South Africa you can get a burger for, I don't know, 20 Rand. The price doesn't really accurately reflect what resources are being used for that. So in America, the subsidies are an issue. So a lot of the livestock industry is subsidized. South Africa, our meat is cheap because we've got available resources, or we're a developing country, so the resources are still available, but we aren't internalizing the costs correctly. Pollution isn't being taken into account with the meat that we eat. Just the wide misuse of resources really isn't put into that that 20 Rand that you're spending every single time you buy a burger. So we've really got to relook how much we are selling our food for, and especially livestock food, animal products.